First, hello, Internet family. This is Anjanette Potter, also known as AdamsRib, and I am on my way to work like the good little um, person that I am. So, I am, as I promised, I am here, my weekly segment on Friday mornings, because Friday mornings seems to be revelation mornings for me. Um, First of all, I'm never going to quit doing this. Um, yes, and unfortunately, when you're traveling with me, you're going to hear everything that I hear. So, I listened to one of my fellow, I listened to another member of what I call the Smart Black Girls Club. So, the Smart Black Girls Club is an unofficial club. I am thinking about making a Facebook page, possibly, or even a blog. It might be my eighth blog. Um, Actually, Smart Black Girls Club, I might start it off as a section on Anjanette Speak, because Anjanette Speak is basically supposed to be social commentary anyway, and it's supposed to be social commentary on different things in the news that's going on, and in any other topics. So when I was doing, and I still am keeping up with the How Respectability Politics Kills Black Women series. Most of the series that I have are never ending series. They'll be up when the Holy Spirit says that they're up. So I was looking at one of my fellow smart black girls named T. Neor. So I have mentioned her before, and she was talking about, the regular black woman. And, you know, because there seems to be this thing, and I think it goes all the way back to the plantation. Most issues in the black community go all the way back to the plantation. And it's terrible because we're in 2021, and it shows you how, um, I think, oppression being somebody else's property. And then, the years after that, Jim Crow, Black Codes, Night Rides, and all that other stuff, we're still fighting those battles. We're still fighting, and it's not the battles like voters' rights, um, segregated schools, like the outward battles. It's the inward battles, like what is thought of as beautiful. The battle about our hair. The battle to be able to wear your hair the way that it grows out of your head and not have anybody tell you that you look unkempt, that you look like a man, that you look unfeminine, which is basically the same, that you're not considered to be beautiful, that you are an other, okay? An other. You are considered othered. And in some cases, for some men, invisible unless they want to have sex with you, okay? So I had to get on a few tangents this week. Yeah, invisible unless they're looking for sex, okay? Now, she didn't say this in her thing. She was basically talking about, what is considered to be beautiful versus, because I'm constantly saying keep it cute, work with what you got. Because every man is different, and I stand by this. Men are individuals. I think it is very foolish for a woman to spend her time catering to the least part of a population of men. You never know who is going to think that you're cute. It's funny to me how even in a car, people who have the absence of color still don't seem to understand what personal space is. Okay? case you're wondering, white. Okay, Caucasian. I don't understand what the problem is with allowing people of color to have some personal space and not have to be attached at your hip and be right up under you. Like heck, we in the middle of a damn pandemic, and you got people who still want to be right up under you. Okay, some of it is racial, much of it is sexual. I don't understand. I remember going to this concert up in Akron, Ohio, and the violator this time was a black man. And I'm standing there, and this fool does not know my first or last name, and decides he wants to, just walk up on me and do whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is what we doing now, because I know I haven't dated in 26 years, but I'm like, I thought we at least needed to know each other's name before you did whatever you're doing. No, we're not gonna do this. Bye. you know. And I'm making the remark because I was getting on the freeway, and a car decided, well, let me be all up in your space and make it impossible for you to get over without having to put you through some stuff and make you want to have to beep at me and act crazy. Okay. And so one of the things she talked about was that special gaslighting that seems to be aimed at black women, telling us we didn't see what we saw, making us feel like we're, unresponsive to men being friendly when many times some of y'all's friendliness, you know what you're doing. Okay? And you know when we don't feel like fooling with it. Okay? So anyway, T. Dior was talking about the politics of beauty. And unfortunately, in a misogynistic world that is male ruled, beauty is politics. Okay, skin tone is politics, especially when you're talking about a white supremacist society that bases all of their attitudes about beauty on blonde hair and blue eyes. Not just a white woman, but a certain type of white woman. Okay, and how that can be, Scandinavian good looks, if you want to call it that. And the funny thing to me is there are a whole lot of white women that are complaining because they don't fit that trope. Okay, so now be a woman of color, and you got to deal with men that are your color that have been brainwashed into believing that that is beautiful. Okay, I still say that men are, in, you know what I'm saying? Now, work with what when it comes to that whole thing, work with what you have. Don't go, doing a whole bunch of plastic surgery to change yourself into somebody. And I'm not hating on the women who do plastic surgeries. One of my favorite singers in the world, Dolly Parton, has gone under the knife quite a few times. My one favorite evangelist, Joyce Meyer, has been under the knife. And we're not gonna sit over here. Well, I'm not gonna sit over here shaming either. But a term called body dysmorphia, and unfortunately, I believe there are people in our country that have racial body dysmorphia. Okay, it's horrible. Racism has done a horrible job on our people. We have so many beautiful black people in the world, and that don't even feel like they're attractive because of centuries of brainwashing that tells you that you're not attractive, even from the plainest white person. Okay. Can I get over? Can I get over? Can I get over? Can I get over? Thank you. Because I really don't want to head out to be doing nothing. So, yeah, I'm on my way to work. So I'm sitting over here trying to discuss my mini mama. My daughter commented on the last feed that I did. she had me laughing. She was saying, "Are you paying attention to the road while you up here doing these lives and talking and driving your car?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, yes, little mama, yes, mini mama. Okay, yes, my mama who I gave birth to. I am paying attention to the road. Yes, yes. Okay. I I I I, I have the ability to chew bubble gum and walk. Okay. So, um, yeah. I mean, she just brightened like, oh Lord, I'm glad to see you in my feed. So she was talking about the politics of beauty. Now, the politics of beauty are already there for Caucasians. Okay. Because I listen to, you listen to white women who like, I don't look like that. you know. Now imagine having to deal with those body image issues and those, issues and be a woman of color. So if you don't fit it, most of us definitely don't fit it. I remember all of the backlash, and we're still going through it, that the natural hair movement got, in the early days from black people. Okay, this wasn't, I heard that some white people were giving us issues or whatever, but the overwhelming majority was black folks and black men. Okay, I remember getting a lot of grief from a pastor whose church I was going to at the time, and I was like, I don't want to put all the unhealthy stuff on my hair. Okay, I'm leaving my hair alone for a while, and so rather than hear me out like a reasonable person, I had to deal with him. So if you listen to any of the information that's out about narcissistic abuse, there's a term called flying monkeys. Now, when you are dealing with flying monkeys, what you're dealing with is the flunkies of whoever the abuser is. So flying monkeys is a term that was had that they borrowed from the Wizard of Oz. So if you remember the last witch too, because I can't remember if she was east or, yeah, I can't remember if she was east, south, what direction this witch was, but she was the last one that Dorothy killed by putting water on her. So the witch had flying monkeys that she would have do her bidding, and so that's kind of how the narcissist operates. Is that they will send other people to harass you rather than, it is very toxic. They can't just hear that you don't agree with them and let it roll and go on. They have to send a bunch of people to bully you, okay? Because that's what it is. You're not soft because you don't like being bullied. Childhood should never be painful. So they will send people after you to reinforce the bullying. So this pastor, rather than hear me say, no, I'm not straightening my hair. For one thing, it's a lot of work. You know, black women, we already have to do a whole lot of work. We have to do a whole lot of work for any style that we do. Even natural has been work for some of us, depending on how you're trying to make your hair look. So, um, I'm a wash and, as you can see, I'm a wash and wear kind of woman. I will put it up. I will put it up in this nice little puff in the top of my head until I feel like doing something with it. And so, and 9 times out of 10, what you see when you see me with my hair down is I'll just let it go to the side and be nice and curly that way too. So I really, could care less. Um, so this man proceeded to send other men to make remarks about my hair. And I'm like, really? Aren't you aren't you special? Aren't you an immature little bleep that can't hear that a woman does not agree with you and just let it and just take it on the chin and go and roll on with it? You got to make sure. And I'm like, I didn't give into it. I'm like, no, My uncles don't bully me about my hair. I grew up. I'm like, gosh, I'm starting to think that the atmosphere I grew up in was a whole lot healthier than what I thought. When I see the toxicity that is out there that other males practice against women all the time, and I was just like, okay, that just makes me even more determined to keep my hair just like it is. Okay, don't be bringing your Eurocentric beauty standards and your Eurocentric taste over here and plopping them on me. Now, I'm going to give you, you know, let me say this. It is usually about control when you have that happening. Okay? So, I have dated black men in my past who had that whole hang up about hair. Don't cut it. Don't ever cut it. Don't ever do this with it. This, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. That whole hang up. And I'm like, well, since you want somebody who's got all them features, why don't you just go on and get a white girl? And quit pestering black, and quit lowering the self esteem, and quit hanging around black women who are proud of who they are, who loves themselves black like I do, and love other black people. Why don't you go on and get a white girl? Why are you hanging out with black women whose self esteem ain't got no problems, and then lowering their sense of self worth? Because I've seen guys like you in the past. Okay, you love to hang around where black women feel good about ourselves and are celebrating our melanated greatness and everything else, and then you come around and you do everything you can to tear down their self-esteem, tear down their sense of self-worth, make them feel like crap because that's just what you do. Okay, and so that's what the last two pastors I had before I decided to just be on my own for a while, um, seemed to have that hang up. And there are some men in the world, I don't know what this is, that seem to get a kick out of seeing what they can get women to do. So if they can't, well, let me see what I can, just, the do it, I call them the do it for me guys. The guy who just wants to see what he can talk you into. It just somehow does wonders for his ego, for him to be able to talk you into some stuff that you said you would never do, okay? Or challenge you on different things. So I never said I would change my hair for a man, but I'm like, I turned 55 this year. So I am at the age where I don't really want to deal with that guy at this age. I don't want to deal with the guy who's so insecure, because that's really what that is, that he feels like he has to prove his manhood by what he can talk women into. And by the time you get to be a certain age, you ought to be secure enough that you don't feel like you have to continue down that road with women. And so I did. I was just like, you know what? I'm not white. I'm never going to be white, and I don't desire to be white. I love myself black. I don't want to have to be white for my own man to date me and marry me, or consider me to be somebody that's worth marrying. Okay, so why don't you just go on and get a white woman, since you want all these features? And all white women don't have long straight hair. They have to do so. I was a hairdresser for 20 years when I did it. Okay, so I did everybody's hair. Not all white women have long straight hair, blonde and blue eyed. Not all white women look like Marsha Breen. Okay, so good luck with that. But what you're not going to do is come into my life and start rearranging stuff and tearing stuff down and messing with me and dragging me down. That's the term. I've also seen his white counterpart, because a lot of my white friends, when I was younger, used to wind up with his white counterpart. The little dude that can't just see a woman, doing good. Maybe she got a few areas in her life that might need to be tweaked. And, it's up to the Holy Ghost to do the tweaking there. I'm not talking about you going into somebody's life and trying to play fix a woman or trying to make her over. Okay? I'm talking about going into somebody's life, you see that there's nothing wrong with that person, and by the time you get done with them, they're dragging. What I call them old dragging men. They have to, you got to drag them out of a relationship with someone else, which is exhausting, or they trying to drag you down. You're doing good. You're raising your children if you have them. You keeping your place together. You're paying your bills on time. You're paying your bills on time. When you can. We have our own little organization or whatever. But in other words, you are doing you, and you are doing good doing you. You might have a few little areas that need to be tweaked, but there's nothing wrong with you. And then by the time they get done with you, you're doing good to peel your face up off the ground and feel good about yourself. I'm like, if you can't do no better than that, why don't you take your behind on? Okay? And 9 times out of 10, the reason that they don't roll on is because you got something that they need. Okay? Whether it's a place to live, whether it's to be their arm candy, whether it's to be some other thing that they perceive that they need from you. So that's one of the reasons. Because I remember praying about that. I'm like, Lord, why don't they move on? Why? And he was like, because that person has something that they need. Okay, keep in mind that many times you might be the recipient of somebody who's needing help of some sort. And so the way to keep you as their source, or maybe it's regular sex. Okay, like I said, you still have those men that, oh, well, you're unattractive any other time until I want to sleep with you. Okay, yeah, I said it. I'm getting close to work and everything. So, over this weekend, I know I just seem to cut things off right as it was starting to get a little bit good. But yeah, even if the need is sex, let me finish that thought out there. They may be using you because you are a source for sexual pleasure, or you may be a source for sexual to de-stress. Because I'm hearing, one term I'm hearing is they view women as they view um, a lot of them like to say they're releasing tension. So you are a source for release for them. Okay, to release tension. So you have something that they're after, and it's not in a good way. Um, because let's face it, a lot of women are in high power positions. So just as many of us are relieving ourselves, we are relieving tension as well. Okay, that's supposed to be done with a spouse, but that's a conversation for another day. Um, so it's something that they're trying to get out of you. So that's one of the reasons why they keep hanging around. And the fact that you're not giving it to them right away, that's where all the other behavior comes from. So I know I keep promising podcasts. There's going to be some podcasts this week, definitely. I've had some other stuff that I have been dealing with. So, how many people enjoyed the Fat Joe? Because I saw in the Versus group um, that people were enjoying the show. People were commenting and everything, which is stuff that I really like to see because it says that we're engaging as a community and we're having a good time. I hate to hear that Fat Joe. I didn't even hear the remark that Fat Joe made about Lil Mo and Vita. So I was just like, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, Fat Joe, you got to make that shit right. Like that ain't even cool. You supposed to be Latin us. Okay. I enjoyed both of them. I like both artists, so I was really here for it. I like to go to the verses because I like to watch the verses. I watch them on Fight TV. Um, I like to look at the verses because they give me a chance to reminisce. It's almost like going into a time capsule, and remembering a lot of fond memories that you have with that artist's music. So I had a good time. Me and my friend Jennifer years ago when Fat Joe was out, when him and Big Pun were around each other, and it was a few songs that I remember were songs that he did with Big Pun and everything. I know there's been a lot of controversy associated with Big old blogs that I had, and I remember one that I did where I was talking about how this person showed up at her concert and was disrespecting her because of what she was wearing and everything, and I had some commentary on it. Of course, I had to defend you, girl, because we got to defend each other. We in this together. So, I was happy to see her. I was also happy to see Nelly. I like Miss Nelly, so I was really happy to see Nelly show up. And that's the nice thing about the verses is you never know who they're going to. And I'll be honest with, I was happy to see Vita and Lil Mo too. I was like, oh, ain't that little Mo? Oh my God, girl, you look gorgeous. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, don't be calling them names. And my sisters are gorgeous, so they were looking good and everything. I was happy to see Lil Mo. I was happy to see Vita. Like I haven't seen because some of these are people that I haven't seen in a minute. Ashanti is still touring. Like she's still doing it in the music world. She took she went off and started doing some acting and different other stuff because she's a triple threat. She's one of them people that know how to do it all. So it was nice to see her again. It was nice to see Nelly. So one of the things I like about the verses is you never know who they're going to bring out as part of their team because many of them have collaborated with a lot of other artists too. So it was nice to see different ones. Now, I follow Comedy Hype on YouTube. If you're into comedy, you may want to check them out. They do a lot of commentary on things that are going on in the comedy world, especially the black comedy world. And they do history lessons on, older black comics and their history and different things that some of them have gotten into. A lot of times people always want to act like the current generation is, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, child, some of the stuff some of these older comics got into. So, I've been following a few old school tea um, accounts on YouTube, and it is so funny to hear, like, like I've said in the past, um, what we know about abuse is so different because the different things that used to take place within some of these marriages, these people still be together. They're like, you mean to tell me you mean to tell me Uncle so and so shot A so and so, or A so and so shot Uncle so and so, and they still together? Like, yeah, she just went ahead and mopped him up and put him back together, and they still keeping it strong. I don't know that that's a good thing to tell somebody in a marriage. Okay, you should not shoot your spouse, but some of the stuff some of these old school entertainers used to get into and wind up doing, especially like my age, I'm like, you were a kid. If you were a kid when some of it happened, you don't remember. And so, comedy hype is a good one. Well, Cat Williams, I guess, said he wanted to do a comedy versus with Kevin Hart. We gonna see. We gonna see, okay? Because because versus is mainly music right now, so if they want to stretch out and do that, I'll watch, depending on who it is. So anyway, I'm here at work now, and as you can see, I'm gathering up all my little stuff so I can go on in the building and do my little job. So I will talk to you guys later on. Yeah, I'm trying to get all my little stuff zipped up here in my little bag. So I will see you all later. I love you. Enjoy your Friday. I'm going to try to get some stuff posted over the weekend if I can. And I will talk to you later. Bye bye.